My name is Gyongyi. I live on the Big Island, and the stories I'm going to tell you took place over the course of my life quite some years ago, actually, on various travels, usually it was travels. Well, I'm not a psychic in the usual sense. I can't just tune in and give you a reading, but I have had like psychic or spiritual experiences, and usually they come at critical times. I notice I can't just use it a game because it doesn't work, but during critical times in my life, and this may, I don't want to sound crazy, but several times I've heard voices, and they're like wisdom voices, advice that either saved my life or changed the course of my life for the better. So, so those were the kind of angles from which, they happened. The first time I noticed something different was I was working in a hospital in Plantation, Florida, and there's a woman in the kitchen. I never talked to her. I didn't know who she was, but every time I walked by, she like glowed. She'd look at me and we'd acknowledge each other, and she was always like glowing. She had this real amazing presence about her. She wasn't like beautiful in the traditional sense. She was kind of chubby and had gray hair, but boy, something about her. And I always thought, I always sort of admired her in a way, and maybe hoped I would be like her, when I was older. Anyway, she somehow affected me. I just felt like she was like watching over me or something. It's like she was always in the kitchen. I was always walking by, and that was that. And so that was kind of an interesting experience. I was on Kauai for a workshop in 1982, and it was kind of not really a psychic workshop, but it involved, a lot of spiritual stuff and kind of psychic. Anyway, I went to bed and I was lying there, not asleep yet, and sort of, it was dark in the room, had my eyes closed. All of a sudden, I slowly hear the sliding glass door opening very slowly, and I thought, that's interesting. I kept my eyes closed and was laying there, and then pretty soon I feel like a weight like somebody sat down on the foot of the bed, and at that time I opened my eyes and there's nobody there, but I distinctly felt the weight. It was like, that's why I opened my eyes. I thought, who's there, and nobody was there that I could see, but I could feel something was like doing something with my feet, kind of fiddling with my toes or something. And I thought, wow, that was kind of weird. So I never knew what to make of that. I just felt like I had some kind of spirit visitor. And then the other kind of striking psychic experience was when I was in Egypt, 1982, 3, with the same group, same teacher. We got access to a part of the Great Pyramid that is normally not open to tourists. When you go in, you go up on a slope to the King's Chamber, and this one went down. And so we're going, and I kind of dropped. Like there were people kind of far ahead of me, and there were people far behind me, but I was alone. I was the only person in that little stretch. And all of a sudden, I entered this. I felt like I was in a cloud. There's a distinctly different humidity, different. It just stopped me in my tracks. Like there's something there. It was kind of, and the scent. There's like a distinct, like here's the barrier. This part no scent, here scent. It was kind of like a mixture of maybe tobacco, sweat, and kind of a strange exotic perfume that. It's like, I don't know, herbs or something, really. I mean, it smelled good, but it was very different. And so I felt like there's some kind of entity there, and I didn't know how to engage it, or I just stood there for a while and kind of acknowledged it and moved on. It could have been a protector for the pyramid, some kind of, the pyramid's a very mystical place. It was sort of, there's a lot of theories about why it was built. The conventional thing is that, yeah, it's a tomb for the pharaoh, but there's also some very interesting mathematics about it. It's like a vortex, funnels energy from the cosmos, both up and down. So I think it's got some other uses besides a tomb. And the other thing about it is most tombs were very decorated. This has no paintings, nothing. So that kind of makes you wonder if it was really a tomb. So yeah, I think it's some kind of ancient portal for something, but I haven't figured out what. Initially, you always get this idea of like spirits or like a ghost with a sheet on, but it's really not. It could be, scent, which I find I attune to, or sometimes sound. You hear something, which I also attune to sometimes. A few times I heard a voice, like advising me very strongly to do something or not do something. And so it's not as you imagine it, or it's not as a lot of popular, sort of popular culture makes ghosts out to be. Anyway, so just pay attention, because the spirit world is here all the time. I had a friend in my mid-20s who I felt like an absolute soul connection with, and I think when we're together, we were psychic. We'd like look at each other and know each other's thoughts. It was so strange. I mean, we'd sit up all night drinking tea and just, somebody glance at it, we'd know what we're thinking. It's totally bizarre. We'd spend the night sitting, not talking, just drinking tea and, kind of lost in our meditation, looking at each other sometimes and kind of, nodding or somehow communicating. I don't know, it was very strange, but I just loved it. I mean, it's just, oop. Oop. This man I went to see in Montana, I'd never met him before, and then I kind of knew I needed to see him really badly. I was sort of in a bit of bad way, and so I went to see him. I wasn't even sure why.
How did you find?
Strangely enough, a postcard came, I don't know from where, spirit maybe. This magical postcard came saying he's doing a workshop in Montana, even though I never met him. And when somebody found out I was going to see him, oh, why are you going to go see him? He's just a dirty old man, and oh, no, she had him wrong. He is hands down the most powerful person I ever met. He'd look at you and your knees would get kind of shaky because he knew he saw you, and there's no hiding, you can't bullshit him, can't hide from him, Anyway, so I found myself like in communication with him. When he first came into the room where we all were, I knew he was looking for me. I think he knew I needed help. And sure enough, pretty soon his helper brought him over to meet him. And we just had this zing zing message, like I said hi, and I didn't really blurt my guts out, but I sent, in my thoughts, I told him, I'm here because I need like spiritual help, I knew he knew that I needed help, okay? So then one night he was doing healings, and he called me up, and he did this really amazing he did this really amazing healing on me. I could feel myself going into trance, it's like the room started spinning and off I went, and it's kind of a knock your socks off kind of experience. So yeah, so I found, and then he would say during the workshop, about people say, oh, I want to, see spirit and stuff, and he said, well, they're right here. It's just us and the spirits, talk to them, and ever since then I feel like they're right here, just, if you see, leave little offerings here and there, and like he said, when you pray, it's just us and the gods, so don't be shy, He's from the Huichol Indian tribe in the Sierra Madre Mountains in Mexico. And they do all these yarn paintings that I have around the house. I met him when he was 104 years old. He was this tiny, scrawny little man, like 5'2" or something, and skinny as a rail, He had one arm missing. He lost an arm in an accident. But, boy, he was like you hear like man of power, and he's a real like man of power, he was something else. And then when he's not doing ceremony, he's just this humble little guy, who's lying around and laughing and joking, and he liked to joke, sort of tease people. Oh my, he was just unmerciful about teasing people, especially about their love life. But yeah, just there's kind of sort of multiple layers of stuff going on at the same time. So yeah, but it probably saved my life. I'm going to say that. Saved my life.